Hi guys. Today I just want to very quickly share with you the curriculum or book choices that we are using this year for my Form 2 Grade 5 student. I will say first off that I did go to Ambleside Online, pulled up their year form, book list and schedule, and kind of used that as my jumping off point or foundation for her year this year. She is grade 5, but year 4 is not necessarily the equivalent to grade 4. Totally depends on your child, where they are at in their reading abilities and maturity. So the year 4 works out fine for my grade 5 student. So I highly recommend Ambleside Online. It is a wonderful free resource if you are a homeschooler who would like to incorporate Charlotte Mason principles in your homeschool. So definitely recommend that. So just wanted to give them credit where credit is due, because I did use their year 4 as kind of a starting off point. So I will start with Bible. We do Bible as a family during our group time in the morning, but outside of that, I do encourage my independent readers to do their personal Bible reading. So I don't schedule that. I don't tell them what to read. I don't give them a set reading plan. I encourage them to decide for themselves if they want to do a reading plan. I certainly help them find one if they're unsure of what to read. I certainly encourage certain books of the Bible, but I really try to let them to just take ownership of that once they reach a certain age. So that is her Bible for her. So math, she uses Math Mammoth. My younger students all use Math Mammoth. It's working out really well. I started using it just a couple years ago with a few of my children, and my daughter just does extremely well with Math Mammoth, so I see no point in rocking that boat. And so that is what we use. It is a very affordable resource because you can get a PDF download. So with multiple children, it's just really budget friendly, cost effective. And the presentation of it is such that she can do a lot of it independently without much help from me so far. So that's good. As far as copy work goes, like my younger students, as I mentioned in my other video on Form 1, they are using Beautiful Handwriting for Children from Penny Gardner. It's a PDF download. It's $10, so it's extremely affordable. You can print out as many copies as you want. It provides extra pages of the lined pages to help them transition to writing on regular paper. So Sarah has completed the print portion of that and is working on the cursive portion of that resource, and she is also doing copy work of like poetry and scripture and such as well, kind of alternating those two things during the week. So that is that. She has not been doing formal grammar. We are just starting that this year. After I don't have the book. Oh my word. Okay. So after much research of the grammar resources that I already own, and then some resources that were available online, I decided to just pick from what I had, and so she will be using Simply Grammar. I have not used that previously, so this is the first time for me to use this in our homeschool, so I'm using that for her. I also am going to pair it up with the grammar reinforcement task cards from Creek Edge Press. I have used those with a previous child, and I think they are really just a great fun way to reinforce some grammar. So make sure you go to Creek Edge Press and check those out. I think they're kind of stashed in a stack right now, or I would show them to you. They're very simple and straightforward. Depending on your child's ability, kind of determines how involved the task cards are. Super simple though. Do not think that it's something, very time intensive. It's not. But Creek Edge Press also offers task cards for history, science, music, and then they offer enrichment and recitation. I think there's 4 volumes of those that match up with the history, 4-year history cycle. So super love Creek Edge Press, so definitely check them out. The cards are kind of Charlotte Mason, Montessori, classical inspired. It's kind of like a mesh of those educational philosophies, so you definitely can be a little bit flexible with how you use those cards and implement them. So definitely recommend those. So that covers Bible, math, copywork, grammar. So now for history, she is doing American history and British history. So her spine for American history is the story of the 13 colonies. And for British history, she is using Our Island Story. So I think she tolerates those books. I don't think they're her favorite. I think because of all the names and locations are a little bit challenging at times. My daughter is a capable reader, but it's this year she has finally just really embraced the enjoyment of reading, and so I don't think these books quite are her thing right now, but we're getting better because you have to learn how to deal with strange names and names of places that follow absolutely no phonetic rule you've ever learned, so she'll get there. Also, to tie in with the 2 history spines, I do keep a basket. I would show you, but I've got other stuff stacked on top. But I do keep a basket of historical fiction available for her to pull from. Some are super easy for her to read, some are a little bit more challenging, and then some are just like right her reading speed right now. So she can pull from those historical fiction books at her leisure. I do encourage, a few afternoons each week to go grab one of those historical fiction books and just read it for just a little bit, a chapter or 2. So that is history. She is not doing written narrations yet. She's just doing oral narrations. So just because her reading, not that she was slow to read, she was slow to have confidence in her reading. So this year we're just really focusing on building that independence in reading, and we'll slowly incorporate written narrations for her history, perhaps next term. We'll just see how it goes. For science, let's do science real quick. I am missing, there it is. Okay, so she is reading the storybook of science, which she is really enjoying. I was impressed that she was enjoying that so much. I don't have to remind her to read that one. And she's also reading Madam How and Lady Y as well. So that's all she's doing for science right now. I am thinking about incorporating a 3rd resource for science, but I haven't found exactly which one I want to add on to her reading for her. We are doing a special study as a family on trees, so perhaps I might find something along the lines of that for her to read on her own, perhaps. We will see. So that is her science. For her biography, she is reading Poor Richard by James Dougherty. And sometimes I read this one with her because she hasn't quite started enjoying it yet. So I sometimes we take turns reading that one aloud sometimes. And then we have geography. And so she is reading Men of the Mississippi by Holling C. Holling. And she'll do some map work to go along with that. And technically, she wasn't supposed to be reading Of Courage Undaunted, but she kind of grabbed it and started reading it, and she really likes this book. So I decided that since she's enjoying it and she really likes to read it, that I would totally just schedule it in as part of her geography reading and just run with what she's enjoying. So we're taking Men of the Mississippi at a little bit slower pace so that she can add this in. And one of the reasons that she's enjoying it so well is because for her citizenship, she has been reading The Presidency by Gerald Johnson. Thankfully, my library has a copy of this. So the two of these together, because it talks about, it has mentioned the president in here, and so then this has made this really just kind of click for her. We actually have a president's book that kind of just lists the presidents and some just basic information about them and their terms that they served, and so she's gone and pulled that up and just kind of researched the presidents that she's hearing about in these books. So totally love those connections that she's making in the various books, so that is a great thing. Her poet for this term is Emily Dickinson, and so what I did is just went to my library because at the time I didn't have any books by Emily Dickinson, and so I just kind of grabbed what they had, and this one is Poetry for Kids, Emily Dickinson. And then I really like this series of books, The Poetry for Young Children, and so she uses this as well, and she's really enjoying Emily Dickinson, so that is great. For her literature, and I just saw it sitting over there, so she is reading, I've got 2 books that she is working through for literature, because again, I don't want to overwhelm her as she is, this year is really her first year of just taking charge of doing a good bit of her reading for school. So one book that she is reading is Rabbit Hill by Robert Lawson, and she is really enjoying this very much. So that is good. And then she's also reading from Bullfinch's Mythology. She's reading The Age of Fable. So I had this huge, thick, the complete Bullfinch's Mythology from the library, which was just kind of bulky and not fun to hold while you're reading. So I just got volume 1, which is just The Age of Fable, just last week for her. So it's illustrated, so it'll make it a little bit more inviting for her to read, and it's not so thick and clunky and stuff. So if I'm not mistaken, I think that covers all the stuff that she's doing. Now, we do have things that we do as a group, as a family: Shakespeare, Plutarch, art, composer. All those things are just a part of our group studies. So I will be doing a video soon on how we handle our group studies. It's not, I don't call it a morning basket or morning time, because 1, it rarely happens first thing in the morning, and 2, it's not really a morning basket type of thing. But I will share with you our group studies in another video. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure you subscribe so that when I get that up, you can catch it. I will also be sharing what my Form 3 student is using this year, as well as my high schoolers. So that is upcoming videos that are in the works. So make sure you don't miss those. So I think that was it. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I do have a blog post that shares all of the resources I just mentioned. So if you just kind of want to have a quick look at the books I mentioned again, you can just go to the blog post and see those listed there. And I think that's it. So you guys make it a great day. Make sure you find time to read a chapter or 2 of a good book with your kids. And make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss those other videos. Thanks so much. Bye.